Are you building a premium coaching offer, or are you birthing a masterpiece? In the Alabaster Studio today, we're going to apply the Michelangelo filter to your premium coaching outcomes. Those outcomes that you co-create with your coaching clients in their business, their relationship, their marriage, their health, their life, their career, whatever it is that you coach on. And we're going to apply this not to add more worksheets or more bonuses or 24/7 Voxer access or any of the fluff or worksheets or videos that people have in their offers. We apply the Michelangelo filter so that we can strip away everything, and finally reveal the premium coaching outcome. The outcome that your clients, your killer premium coaching clients are investing in when they work with you. The David that is inside of your divine gifts that God put inside of you when he fearfully and wonderfully made you when you were still in your mother's womb. That's what we're revealing today, the David. Hello, beautiful, and welcome to High-Ticket Sales for Women in the Prosperous Womb. And it's day 8 of the Sacred Selling Circle experience, where we step into the Alabaster Studio and we birth and free the David. You see, 90% of women who come to the Prosperous Womb, they act like general contractors. They're always building stuff, constructing stuff, adding the worksheet, adding this, putting this in, and the offer is stacked this high because they're selling from their ego. They're co-creating from their ego, which is, if I stack all of these things in the offer, then my ego is going to feel like it's not stealing candy from a baby when it says the investment to work with me is $1 million or $250K or $50K or $25,000. So I have to put all of these things to justify the price to work with me. But let me share the story of the David with you, because it's going to change the way you look at your coaching offer. It's going to change the way you relate to Caleb. It's going to go from transaction, I'm going to sell this offer, to a relationship where you co-create with Caleb, your premium coaching client. So let's talk about the story of David. And as we do this, I want you to look at the way you look at your own gifts, okay? Not your skills, not your expertise, not any of the things that you've learned in school, not your degrees, but the gifts that God has given you, the divine gifts that you get to midwife. You put in this offer, the raw, unfiltered gifts that you've hidden away, you've shunned. You hide them because some of it is shameful. Some of it makes you weird, maybe quirky, whatever those are. Look at those gifts. So in the story of David, when people looked at that 17-foot statue of David, they asked Michelangelo, how did you create this? This was from stone, marble, that was raw. It was marble that people said was flawed and narrow. So how did this beauty appear from that? And this is what he said. And this is what changed my entire perspective about high-ticket sales and premium coaching offers. He said, I saw the angel inside of the marble, and I chipped away at it, and I carved it until I set it free. I saw the angel inside the marble, and I carved it until I set it free. So he chipped away, he pulled away everything. He took away every bonus, every worksheet, every 24/7 Voxer call, every 10-hour video, everything he pulled away to reveal the thing that God had put inside of you, that David inside of you that has all the things, the divine light, the divine magic that your clients are coming to you for, the gift inside of you that supports you to see the thing your clients cannot see because she's in the bottle, to see the thing that supports you to do the thing in 3 seconds that it takes your clients 36 months to do. You can see it in 3 seconds. To do the thing that supports you to ask the expensive questions as a coach, you ask the better questions because you see the thing, you have the David inside of you, and it supports your client to expand. She comes to you and she says, you know what, I have this horse and I need to get over there and it's not going fast. I want a faster horse. And the David in you expands and says, oh my gosh, there's a private jet. And she says, ooh, I could get there by jet. All this time I thought I wanted a faster horse. Is your offer a jet or a faster horse? The David is what makes it the jet. The fluff is what makes it a faster horse. So you see, for women, they stack all these things in because they think, I got to justify my price. I want to justify the price because my ego doesn't want to steal candy from a baby. But you're not a general contractor. You're not in construction. You're in midwifing, delivery. It's relationships, not transactions. When Caleb is a relationship, when you speak to a human heart, there's a difference when you birth the offer than when you're constructing and building and creating this premium coaching offer for this person on the internet. No, it's a person with real dreams, real issues, real challenges. So she has a real job. She has children. She has a real marriage. She has a life. And there's this one part of her life that you get to come into and support her. And it affects and makes every other part of her life better. And it makes her cup overflow simply because you came into her life, simply because you lived, simply because you brought the David out of you. So let's get into that. You see, most women are the stuff because they're afraid of their own frequency. They're afraid that what they have is not valuable. They don't have self-trust. So they think if I add all these things in there, then it's going to make sense to me. Therefore, it will make sense to her. But see, this is the thing. When God sends you that client, it's an answer to her prayer. You have nothing to do with it. You're simply a vessel. So how do you, as the vessel, open up and let God fill up your David for the client? When we come into the prosperous womb, we don't start with, okay, so what are my skills? What's my expertise? You know, how much have I made in the last 7 months, 8 figures, whatever? No. Or what does the client want? No, we start with going inside to who God says we are. Because when you recognize who God says you are, remember who you are, you can see your clients. But if you don't know who you are, you can recognize who you are. How do you recognize the David in your Caleb? You don't. And then the messaging goes haywire and you start talking to people on the internet. We don't create for people on the internet. We create for Caleb. We love Caleb. We see Caleb. We understand Caleb. The messaging begins before we even midwife and birth the offer. That way, when Caleb hears us, Caleb says, oh my God, I feel it in my bones. She knows me. It starts with birthing the David, freeing the David. There are lots of questions that I usually share with clients so I can support them to go and create the offer. For today, let's just go through some of these questions that I have that will support you to know that what you're doing is David and not fluff. The first question I have is, if you had only 15 minutes to deliver a potent, powerful breakthrough experience for your Caleb coaching client, what truth would you embody? If you had only 15 minutes to deliver a potent, a VIP, let's say it's a VIP experience for 15 minutes, what truth would you embody? What self-trust? What level of worthiness and belonging would you show up with so that you can allow David to come out? Because we wrap David up in insecurity. We wrap David up in, I need to join that mastermind that I can use their prosperous womb, source what they have, make me feel good. No. What would you embody for that 15 minutes? Because you already know it. And then, this is another thing. What would make you believe today that 15 minutes with you is worth $250,000? What do you need to believe that 15 minutes with you is worth $250,000? That what you can do with your clients in that 15 minutes, it will take another coach 6 months to do because of the gifts that God has given you. When you align the gifts God gives you with the business you have, it's streamlined, it's simple, it's fun. When you focus only on your skills, your expertise, and your training, it's a whole different matter. That's when you have to make things work. That's when objections come in because you're hiding the David inside of you, and your client came for the David, not for the strategy that your coach gave to you. Another question are all of those things you have in your offer, your methodology, your process, the worksheets, the 24/7 Boxer, are they a roadmap to your client's outcome or a distraction from your insecurity? Are they a roadmap to your client's outcome or a distraction from your own insecurity? And if they're a distraction from your insecurity, on a level of 1 to 10, how badly do they distract your client too? You see, as a coach, we have the gifts to see the thing. Our clients have the gifts to see their thing. And we come in and we ask the potent questions, the powerful questions that stretch our clients. Because it doesn't matter how great you are at high-ticket sales. It does not matter how great you are at marketing. If you can't coach, It does not really matter, does it? But when you master coaching and that leadership and that self-trust, you can sell anything to anyone. So when people say to me, I don't know how to sell, my invitation is, what questions are you asking yourself? And what are the better questions? Because when you answer those better questions, you can sell anything to anyone at any investment level. If you were paid for speed rather than the amount of time it takes to do the thing, what would you charge? What would you charge? So when we create 250K offers or 100K offers, we don't come in and say, I'm going to create a 250K offer. What can I stuff in it to make it 250K? No, we start with the gifts. And then we ask these questions. And then we decide, oh, so this is what it is. And this is what I will charge for it. What would you change about the thing? If you were paid for speed, rather than how long it takes you to do the thing, what would you change about the experience for your client? Look at your business right now. What would you do? This is experiential. It's not me talking to you or talking at you. What would you change? Drop in the comments below. What would you change in your offer right now if you were paid for speed? If you were paid for speed, what would the roadmap look like? If you were paid for efficiency, not just speed, because getting there faster does not make it the better offer. I have VIP day experiences. I have an 18-month offer. Because personally, one of the things I've realized in the last 8 years of doing high-ticket sales is that for most women, working with them, partnering with them through all the seasons, supports you to see the things that are going to come up 6 months from now, 18 months from now, that you can tweak together that support them to exponentially do 10 times better than they're doing right now. So not every container has to be 18 months. You know, it could be a VIP day, it could be 90 days, it could be whatever, but it needs to, the speed, the duration has to be tied to the outcome and not to how confident you feel about the investment to work with you. One of the challenges that comes up is the bonuses, and people think we need to put the bonus. I have this thing, and maybe it's the trial lawyer in me, but I think it is illegal. I believe it is illegal to make something a bonus that is a core integral part of the offer. If that thing needs to be there for the outcome to happen, it's not a bonus. It's illegal to call it a bonus. That's fraud. I spent 7 years prosecuting fraud and corruption around the world, and I can tell you this. If the bonus is not in there and it's supposed to be in the outcome, it's fraud. You're complicit in fraud. So if you were legally forbidden, if you were not allowed at all to offer a single bonus, what is the one specific transformation that still makes this worth $250,000? Because a lot of clients think the bonus is what makes it worth $250,000. I had a client who, she was a sales coach. She's a sales coach. And she has this sales offer that's basically fluff. Then she came in with a VIP day. That was the main thing. So people will buy the fluff for $200,000 because they wanted a $25,000 bonus of that VIP day. That's illegal. It's not a judgment. It's science and the law. So if you couldn't offer a single bonus, what is the one specific transformation that still makes your offer worth $100,000, $50,000, or $250,000? Here's the thing. Michelangelo saw the angel in that raw, narrow, flawed stone. When God created you, he called you his masterpiece. And he said he put everything and equipped you like you were a masterpiece. So everything you need is already inside of you. So those strategies that you go get from somebody else's prosperous womb, that's why my business is called the prosperous womb, because it's all inside of your womb. The thing that you think, oh God, this makes me so weird. The thing that you think is bad is the thing your client is paying for. It's the screwdriver that ties it in for the client. That makes it work. That makes everything you do work. So God sees you as his masterpiece, and all the things that you're trying to do to belong. You want to be in proximity to that 7-figure coach, that 8-figure coach, because that's what's going to make you a better salesperson. No. The question is, how good a coach are you? How great a coach are you? Because that makes you the sales master, the sales mistress, the sales queen. So all the things that you try to do to get to belong or be worthy, God says you already are. You already belong, you're already worthy. And the only proximity, I tell this to my clients, I invite people to consider that the only proximity you need to be in is the proximity with the Holy Spirit. That's the only proximity that matters to you. Because the Holy Spirit will tell you, the Bible says, it will whisper in your ear, you go this way, you go that way, you do this, you do that. And then you lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge the things He tells you, the wisdom that He gives you, so that He leads and directs your path. You don't know everything. You don't even want to acknowledge the gifts you have. The gifts you have are tied to the wisdom that God has for you. That intuitive guidance that supports you to create an offer that is the core potent transformation your client needs and nothing else. Nothing missing, nothing broken. Shalom, shalom offer. The chiseling that Michelangelo did on the marble, that was the act of faith. When you take the thing and you throw it away. When everybody else is adding stuff in, you step out in faith and you take it away. So with my clients, we take the bonus away. Ooh, now you feel naked. Oh my God, that's like going away to the store without makeup, right? And then you take that 24/7 Voxer access away. Oh my gosh. How can they reach me? Like, how are they going to pay me, $100,000 if they can't, molest my time? If they can't disrespect my time, how are they going to pay me if they can't reach me 24/7 a day? Your premium coaching clients don't want to talk to you. They're self-led people who can do the thing without you. They're not going to be on the phone calling you all the time. If you have to drag someone to their greatness, it means you overcame 35 objections for them to work with you, which means they're not your premium coaching client. There's some person on the internet who was, in her little world, then she stumbled on you, blindly followed you, and then you nurtured her, and then she said yes after 35 objections. That's different from your killer client. We spent the last seven days of this sacred experience talking about the messaging, the clients, the pause. Today we're in the Alabaster Studio talking about the premium coaching offer. It's not just slapping something together or adding zeros to your number. Before you create that offer, we midwife the gifts. We ask the better questions because we're coaches. We ask the better questions. And the answers reveal themselves. The wisdom reveals itself through the questions that the Holy Spirit is putting through you to ask you, to channel you. Because we're basically just empty vessel channels that God uses to send to His people, to answer to the prayers to His people. We don't stop our skills and our expertise in there. We reveal the gifts. The same way Michelangelo revealed the David. You're not proving your worth to your other colleagues or trying to impress people with your 8-figure months or whatever it is that you do. You're receiving the worth that God has already given you so that you can receive money, multiply the money, and be a powerful force in the world for the work God has put you to do and for His kingdom. That's how we do this work. It's not about our bank accounts, okay? Like I said yesterday, you're not here for your husband and your children. You're not here for that. You're here to do the work that God has called you to do, that charity that you haven't started yet, because you're still selling 10K offers. The schools that you say you're going to build in Kenya that you haven't built because the money you have is enough for you and your family. So when we stop being selfish and look outside of ourselves and look at our gifts and really own and recognize who God says we are as a masterpiece, then we start to sell real premium coaching offers, not because we're greedy, but because money in the hands of women like you and me is a healing balm for good in the world. That's why we do this. So once we identify our worthiness is coming from God and our gifts that God has given us are tied to this particular client, this particular outcome, we ask ourselves this: what is the one piece? And we do this bite by bite. I say, what is the one piece right now? The fluff, what extra call, what fluff, what access can you chip off right now? What are you committed to chipping off right now on this marble? What's the next thing you can chip off? And what is this chipping off revealing to you about this offer, about yourself, and about Caleb? What is this revealing to you? Because every time you pull something away, it reveals something. Just like now, if you go in front of the mirror and you wipe the makeup off your face and reveal the David, my clients say to me, Mimi, why don't you wear makeup? even when you're on video. I don't wear makeup because the moment when I think I was 11 years old, and I realized that God called me a masterpiece. I realized I don't want to cover the thing that God called me. I used to joke that when I'm 70, I'll start wearing makeup. I probably won't because I'm just not used to that. I can't imagine myself doing that. But when you take the makeup off, I invite my clients to do this on camera, and we do this, they take it off line, space by space, and the tears start to fall. And I say, what has you cry right now? And they go, I've never looked at myself the way I'm looking at myself right now. That's what happens when you strip the offer of all of those things and you see all the gifts that God has given you. And you realize for the first time, your client is not paying you for your time. Your client is not paying you because you have this degree. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Your client is paying you for the gift of you being who God says you are, so that they can remember who they are and step into who God says that they are. That's what the client is investing in the memory that God put inside of her. Because your offer becomes that answer to the prayer that the client has been praying. We go deeper into this in what I call the sacred response in the Alabaster Studio during May. Because during May, we actually have 31 days of this sacred selling experience. In week 1, we do the 8-figure pause. In week 2, we do love letters. No, week 2 is the Alabaster Studio. Week 3, it's love letters. And week 4 is the Cashmere Sales System. Through every step of a coaching business, that's the premium boutique coaching business with premium coaching offers that support Caleb clients to see themselves in the offer, to see themselves in the message, and show up and say, how can I work with you? To streamline so you have spaciousness inside of you. Spaciousness inside of you. To learn more about this, go to sacredselling.circle.com. The description is in the link. The link is in the description below. I also put the link to the entire playlist for all 30 days. Right now we're on day 8 of this, for all 30 days. And you can binge all of these instead of Netflix, treat it like Netflix. And you can watch this so that you can see what happens when you create a business from a place of spaciousness where it's not weird to say the investment to work with me is $1 million. Because not just because of the gifts you have, but who you're becoming in the process of revealing the David in this masterpiece. Let me know how this lands for you. Come back tomorrow for day 9. It's been good having you.